Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we will begin a new topic called an-nabar, the accent, a slight elevation of the voice. In the sciences of tajweed, nabar is a pressure on a specific letter of the word so that its sound is a little louder than the letter next to it. In the glorious Quran, the nabar is required in 5 different circumstances. We will discuss this topic in 2 parts, the first 2 circumstances in this lesson and the other 3 in the next lesson, insha'Allah. And the first one is stopping on a word that has a shadda on the last letter. A shadda on a letter indicates that the letter is divided into 2 letters as far as the formation of the letter is concerned. If you see in this example, letter Ra has a shadda with a fatha. So basically here, the first Ra is sakin and the second Ra is vowel with a fatha. And the sakin letter is formed by the kulliyan or tasadum of the 2 parts of the makhraj, whereas the mutaharrik or voweled letter comes with the separation or taba'id of the 2 parts of the makhraj. Check the details of this lesson in the video of how sakin and vowel letters occurred, including qalqala. So the sakin letter comes with collision and mutaharrik letters come with separation of the 2 components. But this is when the reciter is continuing his or her recitation on a word where the last letter has a shadda. But when stopping on a word that has a shadda on the last letter, that means the first letter of the shadda letter is already sakin, but now upon stopping, the second letter is also sakin. And since sakin letter is formed by the collision or tasadum of the 2 parts of the makhraj, that's the reason that the reciter needs to do nabar or raise his or her voice on the last letter to point out to the listener that this one letter is actually 2 letters, because not doing nabar on the last letter can increase the chance of dropping the last sakin letter from the reading. We'll take this example and try to understand the concept. In mustamirun, ra has a shadda with dhammatain. If we choose to continue our recitation, in that case, we will recite a letter Ra with dhammatain and follow the rules of tanween. But if we choose to stop on this word, now we can see last letter with the shadda will be like this. The first letter Ra with a sukoon, and upon stopping, the other letter Ra is now also sakin. And as we know, the sakin letters are formed by the collision or tasadum of the 2 parts of the makhraj. So now the reciter needs to recite with nabar here to raise his or her voice on the last letter of this word, which is letter Ra, to point out to the listener that this one letter is actually 2 letters, because if we don't do nabar here, this can increase the chance of dropping the last sakin letter Ra. But upon stopping, we only drop the vowel of the last letter of the word, but we do not eliminate the letter. So in order to show 2 Ra's at the end of our example, we put pressure on the letter Ra, raise our voice slightly upon stopping. So in continuation, we will recite like this, mustamirun. And upon stopping, we will recite this example with nabar like this, mustamir. And this is how we will do nabar when stopping on a word that has a shadda on the last letter. So stopping on the word al-qadri is different than stopping on the word mustamirun, because in al-qadri, when we choose to stop on the last letter Ra, there is no shadda, so we will not do nabar on this letter Ra. And upon stopping, we will recite it like this, al-qadr. But in this example, when we choose to stop, we will stop by doing nabar on the last letter like this, mustamir. But there are two exceptions to this rule. And the first one is when stopping on a word where the last letter is either a noon or meme with a shadda. Because when these two letters have a shadda, we give them the timing of the most complete gunna. And upon stopping on a word where the last letter is meme or noon mushaddad, in that case, we stop with a long gunna and it lets the listener know that these letters are mushaddad, there is a shadda on them. That's why we do not require to do nabar in this case because the long gunna is enough to show to the listener that we are giving two letters and not one. So, for example, if we are choosing to stop on this word, we will recite it like this. Ujurahun. And if you see in this example, upon stopping, we will recite it like this. Walakin. We should not be stopping on these examples like this. Ujurahun. Walakin. Because when we are choosing to stop on noon or meme mushaddad, we stop with a long gunna just to show that the letter is mushaddad, and that's why we do not need to do nabar. So stopping on lakin, where there is no shadda on letter noon, is different than stopping at this word walakin, where the noon has a shadda. Upon stopping on this word where noon does not have a shadda, we will stop like this. Lakin. But upon stopping on this word where noon has a shadda, we will stop like this. Walakin. And just like that, if there is a word where letter meme is the last letter with a shadda and we are choosing to stop, we will stop with a long gunna. For example, in the word summa, if we are choosing to stop, we will recite it like this. Sum, sum. And because long gunna lets the listener know that there are two letters, therefore there is no need for nabar in this case of stopping on a word that ends with a noon or meme with a shadda. Another exception to this rule of stopping on a word that has a shadda letter as the last letter is when stopping on a word that is ending with a qalqala letter that has a shadda. Both letters of the shadda are pronounced. The first one with the sukoon collision of the two components of the makhraj, the second one with the qalqala parting of the two components of the makhraj. And you can check the details of this lesson in the video of how sakin and vowel letters occur, including qalqala. So when we choose to stop on a qalqala letter that has a shadda, the first letter comes with the collision of the two components of the makhraj, and the second letter comes with the qalqala parting of the two components of the makhraj. So the way we stop at the qalqala letter that has a shadda is enough to show to the listener that there are two letters. Therefore, we do not have to do nabar in this case. For example, this word al-haqqa, if I'm choosing to stop, I will stop like this. Al-haqqa. And the word tabba, if I'm choosing to stop, ba is a qalqala letter. Upon stopping, I will stop here like this. Tab. But there is an exception to this exception of nabar, and that is if a qalqala letter with the shadda is preceded by a mad letter, in that case we do nabar, whether we stop or continue. In both cases, we will do nabar. And this exception to the exception falls under another circumstance of a nabar, and we will discuss that soon, inshallah. In the second circumstance of nabar, there are two conditions. The first one is when the letter waw has a shadda and the letter before it has a dhamma or a fatha, we will do nabar on the letter waw due to the possibility of incorrectly reciting a mad letter or lengthening the lean letter. And we will see an example here and try to understand this concept. In this example, quwwatin, you can see letter waw has a shadda where the first letter is sakin and the second one is mutaharrik. And letter waw is preceded by a dhamma, a vowel that is compatible with its sound. But the letter waw is not in a mad condition, therefore there is no lengthening here. And to avoid the lengthening of the letter waw, we read it with nabar, making it clear to the listener that there is no lengthening. We put pressure on the letter waw, and that pressure cuts short its time and therefore avoid the possibility of lengthening it. And I will tell you, if I do not do nabar on this letter waw, it will sound something like this. Quwwatin. And you can hear that because I am not doing nabar on letter waw, there is a lengthening of the sound of letter waw as if I'm reciting a mud letter waw. And this is what I have to avoid. And that's why I have nabar here, because nabar will cut short its time, therefore avoiding the possibility of lengthening it. So by doing nabar, we will recite it like this. قوة. Similarly, if you see in this example, letter waw has a shadda where the first letter is sakin and second is mutaharrik, and it is preceded by a fatha. Now, in this case, in order to avoid the undesirable lengthening of the lean letter, we will do nabar. So I will recite this example without nabar, and this will sound like this. قوامون. Because I'm not doing nabar, can feel the lengthening of the lean letter, and this is what I have to avoid. So in order to avoid this, I will do nabar on letter waw and recite it like this. قوامون. And this nabar will avoid the lengthening of the lean letter and cut short its time. And the second situation where you need to do nabar is when letter ya has a shadda and the letter before it has a kasra or fatha. In that case, we will do nabar on the letter due to the possibility of incorrectly reciting a mad letter or lengthening of the lean letter. And we will see these examples here. You can see letter ya has a shadda where the first letter is sakin and the second letter is mutaharrik, and letter ya is preceded by a kasra, a vowel that is compatible with its sound. But letter ya is not in a mad condition, therefore there is no lengthening here. And to avoid the lengthening of the letter ya, we read it with nabar. By making it clear to the listener that there is no lengthening, we put pressure on the letter ya, and that pressure will cut short its time and therefore avoid the possibility of lengthening it. And by doing nabar on letter ya, this is how we will recite it. Amaniyuhum. And if I don't do nabar on this letter ya, this word will sound like this. Amaniyuhum. And this is what I have to avoid. I should not be stretching or lengthening letter ya, because ya here is not in a mad condition. That's the reason I will do nabar here. That will cut short its time and avoid the possibility of lengthening it. In this example, you can see letter ya has a shadda preceded by a fatha, where the first letter is sakin and the second letter is mutaharrik. So in this case, there is a possibility of the lengthening of the lean letter ya. So in order to avoid that, we do nabar that will cut short its time and avoid the undesirable lengthening of the lean letter. Like this, ghayyan. And if I do not recite it with nabar, this word will sound like this, ghayyan. And you can feel the lengthening of the lean letter here. But in this case, we need to avoid that because ya is not in a lean condition. And in order to do that, we do nabar on this letter ya. Whenever letter waw and letter ya mushaddad are preceded by a vowel which is compatible to them, nabar will eliminate the chance of a mad letter. And whenever letter waw and ya having a shadda preceded by a fatha, nabar will eliminate the lengthening of a lean letter. These are the first two of the 5 circumstances of nabar. Inshallah, we will continue with the other circumstances in our next class. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.